everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to another edition of the X-Men 97 review series. And today we are going to be talking about episode 5, Remember It. And we are joined once again with the one and only, the badass himself, Rex the Boss 11. Rex, great to have you back here again. Hope you're doing okay.
Yep. As I have been doing recently, I am doing very, very well. Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about X-Men 97, episode 5.
All right, episode 5, Remember It. This was emotionally charged, without a doubt. We do get a resolution to the love triangle, but probably not in the way everyone would expect. And this had a moment that really I did not see coming. This was something I really would not have expected. So, Rex, we'll start with you first. What was your thoughts on episode 5, Remember It?
Yeah, in this episode here, we get the resolution of the love triangle. We get some sort of, explanation as into why all the secrecy. Because, of course, if you have noticed so far, you'll notice that Rogue and Magneto have been clearly spending a lot of time together. Now, if the subtleness of Jubilee and Sunsport, the fact that Scott and Madeline Pryor have had this baby, there's obviously a sexual element involved in this version of the X-Men. So we have to take it on face value that Magneto is obviously in a sexual situation with Rogue. But like, what is Gambit doing? Like, listening? Like, all this like sly spying thing, it's like it's all sort of explained like, look, you don't know what it must feel like to not be able to touch people, and this is the only human being who I can touch, even if only just momentarily, which it isn't. Of course she can touch him for extended amounts of time because of course his magnetism stops her from being able to drain his power somehow. But yeah, I enjoy what I've seen of this episode, and of course with the way that things are building, this is where Magneto comes into it big time, which is never again.
Yeah, I mean, Magneto really came to play in this one. He really had a big part in this episode a lot, and we get to learn how this relationship between Rogue and Magneto actually started, and they traveled to Genosha, didn't they?
Yeah. Savage Lands.
The Savage Lands. So we kind of get revisiting of the Savage Lands, and we see that the Genosian Council asked Magneto to lead their country.
Set before what we've seen in the original X-Men series.
That's right. And we also see that he agrees to rule their country on the condition that Rogue leads with him. And I thought that was quite interesting that they went to Genosha.
Yeah, he is treated like a king, isn't he? In this, him and Rogue.
Yeah, he's pretty much like a god there. Yeah, and there was a bit here that really like surprised me. Like, when Rogue explained to Gambit that she had a relationship with Magneto when she was younger. I mean, Magneto is quite old, isn't he? And how old would she have been when she hooked up with him?
This is what I said before. It gives off this creepy, weird. He already turned down her mum in the films and in the series and treated her like a daughter.
Yes.
So Rogue's got to be at least, let's say 15 to 20 years younger than Mystique.
Yeah.
So why on earth would this guy, the only way it could go down is if she did everything that Mystique did, because you've seen how she tried to seduce him as well, with getting naked and changing into the girls that he might have liked, as she does. Maybe just kept coming in the room, and obviously, let's be perfectly honest, if you are not related to Rogue, I am an older man. If a 20-year-old girl walked in the room right now who looked like Rogue, and she kept doing that because I'm the only guy who can touch her, it's going to be a lot harder to be able to control your emotions than a woman that can change into anyone.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it still comes across as a little bit suspicious and weird.
Yeah.
Turned down, and he made it clear that mum was like a student to him.
It was a little bit creepy. Essentially, it's like your student getting off of your tutor. Definitely got that vibe. I mean, I understand why they're doing it.
Isn't she blatantly the same age as Wanda? And Petrov or whatever his name is.
I would probably think she's a bit older
Similar
than Wanda and
age.
Petra. Yeah.
No, I think if you look at the series, the way that it's built, they're a little bit older than like the kids that are at school in the series, in the film.
A little
And
bit.
she's still like one of the students at school, isn't she? She's like the Anna Pacquiao version of her was like 21, oldest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're similar ages, so I'm saying it now. I'm calling this out now. These are old. He's definitely old enough to be her dad.
Definitely. I thought it was just me who thought that. Yeah, definitely got that vibe that. So Magneto's old enough to be your dad.
According to somewhere, this is why they gave Rogue this with Wolverine in the films.
Yeah.
Because they knew that, what's it, Ian McKellen? They knew
Yeah,
his character would come off too old. So when it was like he was playing like her sort of dad, uncle type of you'll do what I say, whereas Logan always had that, and that came out of nowhere, didn't it, in them original films? Her spot for Logan and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did feel a bit out of place, that did.
Obviously, it's because Gambit wasn't in them films.
No. Well, no, he was never in the. He's never appeared officially in any of the X-Men films apart from Wolverine Origins.
Just have his own film, Gambit was. Just have his own film.
Yeah.
And the guy who was playing Gambit, I don't know what happened, but something went wrong with the guy who was playing Gambit. He either did something wrong or he got exposed as being one of them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there, to be honest. There was a moment in this episode which I'm quite surprised this happened and the way it went. Jean actually like makes a move on Logan and he rejects her.
You have to remember that he knows that she can just play with his mind.
Yeah.
He knows how easy she can control his mind. And he didn't like the way that she was with the Phoenix. So he knows that Jean loves Scott. So Jean wanting to be with him, it's too weird for him. And he makes that clear.
Yeah, I thought that was a good twist.
You get to see Dazzler in this episode, I'm sure we do.
I'm not
But
sure.
she's not an X-Men. She's not an X-Men. She's just singing and stuff.
Yeah.
You know how they do the party at Genosa?
Yeah, they did that little party.
It's supposed to be Dazzler who's singing the song that you can hear in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that was Dazzler.
She's got short hair. It's from the blonde hair that she has, obviously, in the other ones. She's got short hair. But yeah, it's definitely Dazzler.
All right. You sure it was Dazzler and not Emma Frost?
It was Dazzler. Because she's got the short hair in this that she's got, obviously, in the original Kitty Pryde of the X-Men thing.
Yeah.
But this is Dazzler, where she's singing and what her powers are, the same sort of thing as Jubilee.
Yeah.
Firework.
Yeah, and also in this episode, we do actually see Rogue and Magneto share a kiss, and that's when she realizes that she's chose the wrong guy.
The problem is that by this time, Gambit knows, right, so what you've done is you've gone and had all this physicalness with Eric that I can't have with you. But now you've realized that it's not about the physical side of things. It's about the fact that I've always loved you. Gambit needed to get out of here. Gambit needed to get out of here. Because I don't know what... I know he's a bit of a lovesick puppy when it comes down to it with all this Mon Cherie stuff, yeah? But I'm telling you now, he was about to get made into an idiot if they kept him, like, with her, let's just say.
Yeah, that would have been so stupid.
Well, and she's just used him, guy who loves her, while Magneto's just come round for a quick fling.
Yeah.
Some cuckold stuff.
I know. It was. Yeah, this was the only issue with this
The other way
episode.
around, the young guy watching the old guy bang his thing. That's mad. That's really mad.
That's messed up, really, if you ask me.
And then when you add the granddad thing, because technically, he is like a father figure to her mum.
I know.
Uncle Eric and that type of business there. Uncle Eric in those old X-Men First Class, etc. films. Think about it. If that was it her, I think she might have been on it with Havoc. Like she might have been Havoc's girl. Right,
But I think it's possible.
I think
Yeah.
Mystique was with Havoc at first. She fancied, but even cares. I'm just saying it's weird.
It's almost as bad as Batman and Batgirl hooking up.
Yeah, weird stuff. And then the commissioner, of course, was standing back and being like, "Oh, this is my daughter."
I know.
What?
Huh?
What? The guy's 60. You know what I mean? Like, oh, honestly, don't get me into that. Don't even get me into that, because I know it was obviously just Adam West playing him, but the guy's 57. She's like 22. What's happening here?
Yeah, what's wrong with this picture? It's Magneto and Rogue thing. I get why they did it, but it just didn't make any sense.
It's hot. Don't get me wrong. It's hot. For those type of people that are excited by comic books and these types of love things in the comic books, like the sex scandals and stuff, this was hot as anything.
Oh, it's probably the hottest thing they've ever done.
Yeah, it's everything that you imagine between the Jean and Wolverine thing, sort of the Emma Frost, like, because these are fit females, yeah? But at the same time, this is still got an element of a bit ancestral, weird, like granddad on granddaughter sort of vibe. Because those are all this Magneto guy is.
Magneto's got to be at least mid-60s.
It was set in the 90s, 1997. This guy was at least 15 or 16 years old in the Holocaust. So we're talking 42, 43. So he was born in 1925?
Must be.
No. Yeah, 1925. So if he's born in 1925, that means he's, what is he, 72?
Oh, God.
Yes, he's 72. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. A 72-year-old with the elemental with magnetic like powers and elemental powers is banging a 5-year-old like woman, because Rogue can't be 25 in this.
She has to be at least 25. 25 going on 26.
Yeah. She's way younger than Jean and Cyclops, and they probably 30 odd. You know what I mean? She's way younger than Logan. She's a bit younger than Remy, obviously. Gambit.
Yeah.
Like, she's nowhere near the age of Beast. Beast and them are the same age as her mom.
No. Oh my God. Now, over the course of this episode, we get a surprise appearance from Cable, who's travelled from the future to warn everyone of an attack that's coming, which is an upgraded version of Master Mold and an army of Sentinels that comes to attack Genosha. This part of the episode was epic and dark. And to me, this was like watching an anime episode.
To be fair, you get quite a lot of cameos in this episode.
We do actually. We get one from Nightcrawler, don't we?
Cameos. Loads of cameos in this episode. I mean, loads of background cameos, loads of random characters that can be pointed at as being other characters, just like standalone. Obviously, you've got the Morlocks that are involved in this as well.
Yeah.
It's Genosha stuff. Obviously, I said Dazzler earlier on. She's definitely in this. There's a few other side characters as well, a few of the black characters as well. Leech is in this, obviously, from the Morlocks. There's a squiddy character that I've seen before in the different X-Men cartoon. Yeah, there's a few characters, there's a few cameos in this.
Yeah, there was quite a number of cameos, as you say. Nightcrawler played the biggest part of of all the cameo characters who appeared in this episode. And there was a moment here, as you know, as we get near towards the end, Gambit actually sacrificed himself, and he actually died.
Can I say that Gambit is way more powerful than like what people think he is? But at least you get to see a little bit of it in this. Like, he can charge up people's weapons. Gambit's insanely powerful. And
he was in this one.
He's never really been on that top level of being able to fight against the top level villains. But in this, you finally get to see Gambit don't lay down for no one.
Yeah, and I thought him sacrificing himself. Yeah, he went out like a boss, no doubt about it. He was a proper. He went out like a proper boss in this episode. Really did, because from what I remember of Gambit in the 90s run of the show, obviously he was very popular, but he never really had a big part he never really had a big moment, did he? I mean,
Side character.
he was just a side character. He was there to just
They
flirt
didn't
with
know what to
Rogue.
do with powers. They didn't know. They knew he was bare powerful, but they
They
didn't
just didn't.
necessarily know what to do with him. As in that, oh well, if we show that he's so powerful, it kind of neuters everybody else. In these, why would we have storylines for any of these characters then? And we've got plans for that. So, but he basically, that's why he was supposed to get his own film.
Yeah, he's supposed to get his film a number of times, but they keep shelving it.
Well,
But
one of those, the
no,
Flash ones, from what I've been told, there's a lot of problems in the early production of what that was supposed to have been, or somebody may own the rights.
yeah,
He may have been characters that were sold. I think I read somewhere that someone wanted to do something with the Gambit character, like the gambling thief version of Gambit in
yeah,
like the 90s, because it was an easier way of putting a character like that on TV. It was around the time when they made the Gen X or whatever it was, that
I remember that show.
that horrible.
That early 2000s, wasn't it?
That was actually I think that was mid to late 90s. It was horrible.
Was that, it's like late 90s to early 2000s. I remember that show.
Horrible stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I remember. But yeah, Gambit actually got killed off in this episode, and you know, I actually got a bit choked up here when Rogue was like holding his bludgeoned body, and I thought this is essentially Death in the Family all over again. And you know, Rogue sitting there saying, "I can't feel you anymore, Gambit. I can't feel you anymore." And pretty much that's how it ended. Really, it was quite a horrific way to end this episode, I think. I mean, this sort of moment would have probably have happened in like the season finale, don't you think?
No one was dying in the original series, but
No one actually died. Not as such.
in this, the way that they did this is obviously it's also got two sides to it, hasn't it? Because she fucked over Gambit, you know, because like her behavior and her disloyalty, like she's not loyal, and she's got to live with that for the rest of her life. I mean, obviously you haven't seen the next few episodes, but I'm imagining that there's going to be a bit of a change in Rogue's characteristic going forward.
Oh, totally, especially after this.
And you've got to remember, what is her name? Rogue? I mean, Rogue mean?
What her real name?
What does Rogue mean?
Well, Rogue's like a villain.
Her real name is Monroe, isn't it, or something like that?
Her real name.
I think it's Monroe, yeah. And that's where she gets the Rogue name from, Rogue, like the rogue bit of it, Rogue, yeah. But Rogue's obviously like she's a runaway, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's a rogue to the like Star Wars Rogue One or whatever it's called, like Rogue, yeah. She's a rogue to the people that she's around, and obviously, so that means even if she's with the mutants and with the X-Men, she's a rogue to the X-Men, and that's why she.
Well, one version of her real name is Anna Marie. Anna Marie.
That's what the Mystique called her, isn't it?
Yeah. That's one version, but I think she's had a number of different names, but that's the one I remember. This was a very emotionally charged episode, very over the top in a good way. No, this was definitely one of the stronger episodes of this series so far, which is now like 5 episodes in already. But no, I quite enjoyed this one a lot. I mean, as we wrap this up now, what would you give this episode out of 10, Rex?
This was a 10. This Genosha episode was a 10. Like, obviously, the way that they pitched it, Gambit dying at the end, obviously, this was her fault. This was Rogue's fault.
Yeah.
Because Gambit would have never tried to have done anything like that in the eyes of the audience unless he was obviously charged up by the emasculation of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she basically, I mean, you can only imagine what that must have felt like to him. You know what I mean? Like, watching the woman that you love, who you can't touch because of her illness or because of her human power, say, and then another man who's immune to her just comes along and they're just spending all the time. Honestly, just even the thought of that is not nice.
Yeah, and then to rub it in your face as well is even worse.
And obviously, look at it. She's got to live with that now, though. So she got the karma.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm with you on this. This was definitely a 10 out of 10. This was a fantastic episode and one of the best ones of this series so far. And I'm a little bit bummed out they killed off Gambit because I actually really do like him. I do think it was a shame they killed him off, but I get why they did it. They did this for a reason.
Who else was they going to kill off?
Well, won't be Wolverine, that's for sure.
can't kill him. Yeah.
No.
Obviously, Morph's not going to do that again because they've already tried that before.
Yeah, it
Beast,
didn't work.
so if you can kill the Beast, Cyclops, obviously not. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's down to like Morph in the original series. It comes to a common denominator. Like Gambit was, unfortunately, he was the most secondary, irrelevant character to Morph out of all the X-Men. Would have been a toss-up between him and Morph again, but no, not the way that Morph's been acting in the 5 episodes that I've seen, because all we've seen him doing so far is, I'm starting to think, and I'm just going to say this, Morph isn't a powerful X-Men. He doesn't have, he can't do the powers of the people he's changing into. So he doesn't have any power. His power is that mystique, but without the seductiveness.
He's basically a male version of Mystique, really.
Yeah, he is. Changeling, obviously. That's what he's based on. But
Yeah, that's why they created him.
like, can anyone point out a time where he's actually done anything? Because who's he changing into? These characters that he's changing into, they're not helpful.
No, just like random people.
It's just like to impress. It's like a magic trick. Oh, look who I can change into. It's basically just a
Comic
more
relief.
willing to show you that he's a shapeshifter version of Mystique.
Yeah, that's all he is, really. That's why he was created. But no, overall, this was a really fantastic episode and one of the best ones. Definitely up there with episode 3, I think.
Well, I'd say for you, you've got more episodes to watch. It's definitely more better episodes to come, but this is definitely a 10, which is a good sign on what this overall series is.
Absolutely.
I don't think, to be fair, I'm just going to be realistic. They could probably put Morph changing into various characters for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then one of them taking a huge dump in the middle of the screen. I think a lot the episode 3 or 4 would have carried on watching no matter what was put in front of them. I've definitely seen worse programs and worse plagiarisms of characters than what we've got here. This is definitely something good. And you know what? Because we need to speak about this at some point. I really do hope that this leads to more. It seems that we're starting to get a few cameos just from the Morph changes, because Morph's obviously changing to everyone irrelevant. But yeah, I do hope that we do get Spider-Man and another Fantastic Four.
I hope so
and
too.
Silver Surfer.
Oh, definitely. I'll love that.
Captain America, Black Panther, Daredevil. These look like they're coming. These look like they're coming fast as well. Like, I'm hoping that by 2026 there isn't a gap in the week, as in, Netflix are basically saying, right, once a week for 26 weeks of the year. Once every day for 26 weeks of the year, it's going to be one of your Marvel superhero characters. We've got 5 series ready to go, 26 episodes of each one, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, really, but it looks like we're heading in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, this is fantastic. So far, this has been definitely the best animated series that I've seen since the 90s. Apart from obviously you crap like Family Guy and all that type of stuff. But everyone knows what I'm on about. When I talk about this superhero I've not watched a superhero or anything like this since Spider-Man and X-Men, Turtles and that from the 80s and 90s. I haven't watched any of these. This is definitely down my alleyway of, this will get my eye. It's got the right animation. It's got the old school look to it. It's got the old school sound to it. It's still got the badass theme. Still got all of the decent characters left, at least. Yeah. And, they're building to something. Got 5 more episodes to go. They're building to something.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode 5? Remember It. Did you enjoy it? How did you feel about Cable making an appearance? Do you think this is the first of many to come? And also, how did you feel about Gambit sacrificing himself? Are you upset that he killed him off? Do you think this was the right move going forward? And do you also believe this was Rogue's karma for the way she treated him with Magneto? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And we will see all of you next time for another edition of the X-Men 97 review series, where we are going to be talking about episode 6. So make sure you don't miss that. Rex, this has been an absolute blast so far, and great having you here as always.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I am so looking forward to letting you guys know our thoughts, especially my thoughts on the last few episodes of this incredible series. So stick around until next time, and we will see you guys at another point in the future for episode 6.
Bye for now, guys, and see you soon.
Peace out.